Are we live? And what is this? Not sure. I think we might be live. And I also think this might be a metronome. And you know what that means? That means practice. And today I'm going to be practicing, and more specifically, I'm going to be practicing the glitch picking technique, which seems to be all the rage, at least on my channel. It's a technique that I haven't used it that much, but just for a couple of licks. But since they always go boom when I post on here on Instagram or whatever, YouTube, I figure I might just try to get better at it, and that's what we're going to do today. So the way I picture this is I'm going to be practicing the way I usually do, which is, well, I always change my practice routine, but when I practice technique with a metronome, it's usually 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll take a short break. Doesn't mean I'm going outside or anything like that. Just stop with the exercise, maybe do different exercise, or think of what to do next. And that's going to be perfect, I think, for these streams, because that means we can basically communicate, and you can tell me stuff, and I can say stuff, you know, all that good stuff. So, do we have a sound? I think we do. And if we have a bad bending, see, that's why I need to practice. I haven't played this guitar for a while. Am I in D flat? Felt like standard because I couldn't bend, but that's because this guitar has a thicker string gauge than the Strat, which I've been playing for a couple of days. The Strat has 08. This is like 0946. So yeah, feels heavy now. I know, bending or tuning so boring, but I just tuned the guitar, so it's evidence I haven't played it in a while, which is a good thing, because the reason I have several different guitars is makes me play differently depending on what guitar I pick up. So I tend to not have a desire for, 55,000 Strats, even though it sounds like fun, but I'd rather have different guitars. Today I'm playing the LTD, and I'm hoping it's gonna give me some new ideas. We'll see. So let's get beeping. Beep, beep, beep. Not ready for that. Leos from Facebook, what's up? Okay, so there you have the glitch picking slowly. I'm going between all the different fingers, just playing one note. Of course, I get bored very quickly, so that's why I'm trying to find different pathways around the fretboard, even though I'm using the same technique over and over. Adrian from YouTube, what's up? Yeah, I have done some unboxing in my live streams recently, so you probably caught one of those. Okay, now I'm gonna think about efficiency in my right hand as well. It's harder up here. Less space. Ouch! I failed. Ouch. So let's just stay on one spot for a while. So say the 19th fret. Oof. Okay, so let's take a little break. Adrian, do you remember the first song you learned? Woohoo! So that, yeah, it was actually some old Slavic folk song. Of course, these days, I don't really want to be playing any Russian tunes, so I guess I'll just refrain, but that was it. Kalinka, kalinka. And you know, it's supposed to just go faster and faster. It's like, but I don't think I ever got to that place. But if you're speaking about like a rock song, probably maybe some Nirvana or something, you know. Probably something like that, because that's about the time I started playing, you know, when they got really big in the 90s. Okay, so I've been doing the glitch picking thing now, just on one note. And if you're new to what that is, I posted a bunch of videos on it yesterday. But it's basically playing the same note with different fingers. So, you know, instead of doing the... I do... And that sounds kind of different when you speed it up. So, I'm practicing that now. But I got a little bit bored by the just playing one note. So what I'm going to do now is be a bit more improvisational in my playing, in my practicing. And I'm going to play a scale and do some glitch noting. So hopefully you guys can hear me well. I know sometimes when I charge the phone and the live stream, it makes a hum noise. So do let me know if that's an issue. Does look okay from what I can tell, but yeah. Okay, so let's try that. Playing E minor, the scale of E minor or E Aeolian. Okay, I got a bit more adventurous here, so I'm gonna turn down the speed a little bit from 90 to something else. 80 BPM. There's a little bit of pain in my ring finger, which is weird because I haven't really done anything fancy yet. Ouch, I messed up way too fast. Okay, that was interesting. It got a little bit more fun to practice there because I turned down the pace of the metronome and I was able to throw in more variations. Plus, I'm getting a little bit warmed up. I'm starting from 100% cold today, so it'll take me some time before I can do anything fancy. Okay, cool. Love from Finland. What's up, my neighbor? German, how you doing, mate? The pain I've been getting now is in my mid-30s is in my left wrist. Okay, the left hand for me has always been the big issue, left arm, you know. I got an issue when I was really young, so 18, 19, and since then I'm overcautious about pain in my wrist, so I never play when I feel anything. And you have to basically accompany, or if you're gonna practice much, you have to do physical exercises, especially if I'm in my mid-40s and yeah, things go south quickly, I can tell you that. Anna Dan is asking, hey, any tips for self-taught guitarists on left and right hand coordination? And also your opinion on warm-up. I feel like I play better after noodling for like an hour into playing. So the second part first, this kind of relates to what we're doing here. For sure, I mean, that's how it is for everybody, even the pros. Especially the technical pros, right? The ones who shred, we all need to warm up. I mean, playing guitar is a physical activity after all. Even if it's just like small limbs working, it's still a physical activity and the body needs warming up. Yeah, that's not strange at all. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no way around it. I do find that the first hour of playing is when I'm most creative. But I do agree that I have the least technique probably the first hour of playing. It's a shame in a way, it's a shame to devote that first hour to, warming up, because you could be creative instead. So it's always a balance there. But I try to be creative in my practice, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm not sticking to a specific pattern. I'm trying to be as creative as possible. Hey there, Sherwin from Facebook. Thanks for digging. Yada, West Java Indonesia from Facebook. Awesome. Or Yadi, sorry for butchering your name. But then Ananda Patel on YouTube also has a question about self-taught guitarists on left and right hand coordination. So when I've had issues with coordinating my hands, I've basically done two things, I guess. One is honing in on the offender. So is it the left hand or the right hand which is the main offender, or at least which one has the most issue with what I'm trying to do? So that's the first thing you got to determine, and then work on that. So if it's like arpeggios, let's say I had problems with that, then I would work on my left hand probably, because it's much harder to play an arpeggio with the left hand than it is just to sweep. That's easy. Most people can do that pretty quickly, but playing fast and precise with the left hand is hard. And once I've addressed the left hand, and I would practice that slowly, I would not play it at this tempo if I were starting out, that would take years. When I feel that the left hand is up to the task, and in this case, again, it's going to take me a long practice with the left hand, then it's time to try synchronization again, and of course do it slowly so you can kind of program your mind into syncing both hands. Okay, hope that helps. Now we got to practice some more. I'll just keep on going. I think I had a good flow there. I'm messing up now, so this is not good. Don't practice while messing up unless you're really trying to do some improvisation practice maybe, but even then. Oops. Let's see. I think I missed a million questions from Facebook. It stopped, or from Instagram. It stopped scrolling. Sorry about that. I'm gonna try to improve on that. Whooshy. If you forget songs, yeah, you will forget songs if you don't practice. Okay, a question about alternate picking. Okay, sorry about missing all those questions. Next break, I'm gonna check Instagram more carefully. Ouch. Whew. Okay, so I tried to find, at the end there, I tried to find another variation of the exercise. So basically another technique I could weave into the exercise to kind of morph the exercise into something a little bit different, because otherwise it gets boring quickly. And it's also a way to just come up with new stuff as I'm practicing. It didn't work out very well, so I'm gonna check comments now. Scroll a little bit on Instagram and see I missed a bunch of comments there. So yes, Whooshy. So Whooshy is asking, is it normal to basically forget songs if you don't play them for 3 months? And yes, this is a kind of fresh product. You have to keep it updated. I guess there are exceptions if this is something you've been touring with for 15 years or something, but in most cases, you're gonna start losing your ability to play those songs after 3 months. Cantor, thank you on Instagram. How do you practice alternate picking? That's a good question. Tanrika loves listening to me playing. Thank you, Tanrika. Okay, so I did well checking the Instagram thing there because we had some good questions there. Kinley, what's up? Facebook. So, alternate picking. There are a million ways to practice alternate picking, and it depends if you want to build speed, you want to shred, or if you want to develop flexibility. Since I've already spent a lot of time trying to build speed, and when I'm well warmed up, I think I'm fast enough for my needs. You know, I'm not by any means the fastest out there, but it works for me, and I don't have a desire to get faster. However, when I don't practice, I constantly lose the overall ability to pick. So what I do is usually like a mix between like a static classic exercise where you just, loop your picking pattern and something where you go up and down the scale and make it a little bit more interesting. So let me give you an example. this tempo, I'm able to mix alternate and economy picking, and as you could tell, I was able to play faster, but it doesn't really help me to try to push my speed. Instead, I play below my comfort zone when picking. So let's do a little bit of that. String skipping. More string skipping. Okay, pentatonic with string skipping. Ah, I messed up. Okay, so that's just an example of how I would practice alternate picking, but I've been playing for almost 30 years, so if I were starting out, I would look at very different set of exercises depending on where I was in my learning phase. So if you're not comfortable at all with you know, the basic movement, you would look at that. And once you're able to do that, then you would start maybe working on accents. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You would try to do the opposite but with an upstroke. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's a way to start gaining some control, and once you can do that, then you can start weaving in some fingers in there. So I don't know, it has to be the most boring exercise in the world, but it's a good one if you never synchronize your fingers, you know. So it depends a little bit where you are in your development phase. Okay, I see a question by Ida on Facebook, but I think I'm gonna do a short little exercise break, practice something, and then I'll get back to Ida's question. Okay, so I still want to do both my glitch picking and something else. So we'll see if I can find what that something else is. I keep messing up. Sorry, it just struck me that I forgot to notify about the live stream here. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Failed with all of those hammer-ons, so it's too much of a stretch at this point. I'm going to do something smaller. So okay, a little pause there. So what I tried to practice there was the flat finger thing. I've shown you that in my shorts previously. So basically where you flatten. So instead of moving your finger like that, you flatten your finger. And that gives you some very fusion style runs. You could do I prefer to do that when I'm warmed up though, but that's the general idea. And the reason I would be practicing it is to gain more control and more ideas, but using the same type of run. Okay, now let's see what you guys are saying here on Facebook now. Ian, what's up? Shout out from the Philippines. Awesome. So we had a question, I think by Ida. Sir, how to understand the modes for beginners who know only major scale and some pentatonics? Good. Thank you, Andan. You're the GOAT. Thank you. I don't remember Cliffs of Dover. I'm a big fan of Eric Johnson, though. Okay, so how do you understand the modes? So there are many ways of explaining the modes. I find most of them super confusing. I don't know, it seems people miss the whole point with, understanding and hearing the modes, because it doesn't matter if you find a great method that helps you play the modes. It's going to make zero sense on you unless you understand how they sound. And most methods I've seen are just different attempts at shortcuts in having you play the modes. But again, that's useless. Anyone who's done such a method, and the method might have worked, you figured out where to put your fingers. But did it sound good? No, it didn't, because you were just playing a scale up and down. So the only way I like to teach the modes is by, as you've done, start with like the pentatonic and the major scale, and then change a note here and there. So, if you know the E major scale, I'm in E flat now, by the way, but I'll be playing it with the E major scale shape here. So on the 12th fret, E major. If you want to play the Mixolydian scale, then you're going to change one single note in there. And it sounds very different from that's the major scale. Now the Mixolydian. So I changed one note and it sounded totally different. But also that one note totally disrupts the pattern you're used to. So that's why people are like, oh man, I don't want to learn a new pattern. And then there is a method to kind of reuse your major scale patterns. But that method sucks in every aspect other than just to teach you where to put the fingers. So what I recommend, if you know the major scale, then move the major 7 in the scale, so the last note, move it down a half step, and you get the Mixolydian scale. It's that easy. Now, just because you come to that insight doesn't mean you're going to immediately figure out all the shapes, but that's okay. It's supposed to take time. No one wants to hear you blaze through the modes after a week anyway. What people do want to hear you do is try to emphasize that note that changed so you can hear the difference, right? So instead of doing the major scale, you emphasize the Mixolydian note, and you could do that for each and every mode. Find a note that is different from either the minor or the major scale, or even the pentatonic is also a great kind of reference scale for that stuff. And that's how I recommend anybody to learn the modes. I didn't do it that way, and I didn't learn to really use the modes until I had known how to play them for like 10 years, I knew the shapes, I just didn't know what to do with them. It's like, oh, okay, there's the Locrian, there's the Dorian, who cares? Well, I cared, but I didn't know how to make it sound good. I certainly didn't sound like John Petrucci or Joe Satriani just because I played the Dorian mode. It took me a decade to understand, well, the Dorian mode, the whole thing with that scale is that major 6. It's totally different from the minor scale. So if you emphasize that note when playing, you could play the minor scale and then just change the minor 6 to the major 6. So that's basically the 6th note in the minor scale. You move it up a half step and you get the major 6. So do that and you have the Dorian sound. And when I understood that, okay, have fun with that specific note. Well, then I understood what the whole point with, the scale patterns I'd been doing for 10 years all over the neck. I understood the point with those, Up to that point, it was like, okay, there's all these shapes, but again, who cares? What am I going to do with it? It doesn't help me. And I don't think it helps anybody, It's just I just think it's some gimmick cliche for, I don't know, instructors or someone to sell you something as usual. It doesn't help you play, You could easily, learn them the way I suggest, just change the notes, and then wait another 10 years until you visualize the whole thing on the fretboard. That thing is of no importance. What matters is, can you make it sound like Dorian? And for that purpose, you just need one note on top of your pentatonic scale, as an example. This is an LTD. Yes, it's an LTD Deluxe MH1000. Thank you, Shalon on YouTube, for digging my clean playing. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see if I missed any Instagram stuff. No, Instagram is silent. So that gives us the opportunity to play some more. Okay, what was I doing? Yeah, I'm gonna keep going with a flat finger in combination with glitch picking. Ah, too fast. It's a bit noisy still. Let's see if we can get rid of that. There. Too noisy. So my pinky can't really do those. That stuff doesn't matter when I play fast as much, or it does matter, but when I do this, yeah, it does matter, but I guess I just miss it there. So it's a good opportunity to practice, So collapse, is the metronome too loud? I have it here. Let me know if it's somewhat balanced. Maybe I'll angle it more towards myself. Better. Ouch. Really noisy there. Should fix this. So it's a little bit better. Now I nail half of them. So this is obviously something that I've kind of missed practicing. I don't think I ever practiced the flat finger stuff slowly. So it's a good thing we're catching it together now, but basically my flat fingers are a little bit noisy whenever I do them with a stretch and with a pinky. So like this. That's better, but sometimes it's like that, and I want to avoid that. Ouch. Not ready for that. So, cool. We had a question about hybrid picking from Facebook. Joseph is asking. So you might have seen that when I practiced this, I was almost exclusively using hybrid picking all the time. So whenever I did that flat finger thing, I also used my hybrid finger, like that. So it's pretty essential here, though some guitarists, I think probably Marty Friedman who does this one, same lick, right, with that kind of thing can be done with picking, but it certainly helps with hybrid picking. And I think the biggest issue people encounter with hybrid picking is that they use the wrist for picking. And that's okay, but it doesn't work when you want to use your finger as well, because if your picking movement is this big, well, just try sticking out your finger. Your finger is going to be all over the place. So you have to rely on this movement, right? You see, my wrist isn't moving at all. It's completely still, you know? Can you see my wrist moving? No, it's not. So if you pick like this, then you can shred now. Then you can, you know, easily add some hybrid stuff on top of it. So you gotta be comfortable with that thumb joint movement picking. That's my advice for hybrid picking. Okay, so I don't think my hand liked the stretching stuff at all. I'm gonna wait a little bit with that, see if I can do something else. Maybe, here's a tricky one. Yes, this is not a digital amp, it's a real tube amp, Mesa Boogie amp you're hearing. So, I'm gonna try, but this is probably gonna fail. I'm gonna try to do both tapping and glitch picking. Yeah, Kuji, exactly. Some people call this circle picking. No, it does not have a Sustainiac. It's just lots of gain. Okay, so. Works pretty well. Ouch, and I messed up. So the challenge here is to go between the tapping and the picking, actually. So that's one of the things I'm trying to get better at, because if I want to be able to use tapping when improvising, and that's usually my goal with this kind of practicing, then I need to be able to move between the picking and the tapping. You know, that's essential. Because otherwise you're gonna get this super long tapping run, and you're gonna get like a long pause, and then you get some, you know, it's just nice. I wanna be able to, you know, do a little bit of like that, but with more confidence. So this is good practice for that. Hey there, Lawrence, good to see you. Simulation Games, you've subscribed, awesome, man. Thank you so much. We did have a good question there by Yogesh on Instagram. He says, while practicing, I realized my ring finger is weak when I play fast. May you suggest something, please? So, your ring finger is always weak, unfortunately. At least mine is, and most people's are. Or did you say ring finger or little finger? No, your ring finger. Okay. The ring finger shouldn't be weak. I guess I'm guessing now, but I'm guessing you're referring to maybe it's messing up a little bit when you're playing fast on whatever pattern you're playing. I don't think it's down to the ring finger. I would assume this could be, classic, trying to push speed thing. It might work at a slow tempo and you play faster and you mess up with the ring finger, but it's not the ring finger specifically. It's the exercise that's not ready yet for you to play it fast. That sounds a little bit weird, but I think you get the point. So yeah, I don't know, Freebird, I don't know. Something like that. I don't play cover songs. I practice with the metronome. That's how boring I am. Okay, so let's see here now. We were onto something there. Let's see here. I'm gonna do some more of that because I really need to practice going between tapping and picking. Plus that makes me practice some glitch picking as well. So everything at once here. A little bit noisier now as I'm getting a bit more experimental. That happens with everybody, so let's try it again. So I'm doing string skipping and I'm doing wide intervals. This is a pretty cool lick. I just need to learn it. So let's work some more on it. Now, I think I'm gonna cut my freaking nail. Okay, I'm gonna show you my bad finger now. See the nail here? Needs to be cut for tapping. Sorry I couldn't spare you this. I remember when I was young teaching private students in person, and I had this super old dude come to me as a student. He was really old, probably, well, I would guess 85 or 90 something. At least that's the way he behaved and looked. And he couldn't find it to my place where I was teaching, so they called from the local pizza place, like, we have this dude, he's looking for you. It's like, okay, I'll come get him. And so I was supposed to teach him play guitar, and his nails were super long, so I was like, you're gonna have to cut your nails. And he was super embarrassed by cutting his nails in front of me. And since then, I've always been afraid of cutting my nails here. It's like, oh, that's probably disgusting. But to me, are nails really that disgusting? I don't know. I don't know why he was so embarrassed. But to me, cutting nails is pretty natural, especially if you do tapping. Then you really need short nails. Otherwise, it just messes up your technique. This is an LTD MH1000. Messed up the timing there. So it's either noisy or I mute too much. Let's try one more time. So which hand do I watch playing guitar? Depends. When I'm tapping, I'm looking at my right hand. But most of the time it's my left hand or no hand at all. It's always a challenge with two-handed tapping to mute the noise. See, I'm holding my index finger there. That's how I do it. Without it, it's okay, but I still touch the string with the top of my finger. So my fingers don't hurt when playing. If they do, I stop. Unless you're starting out and you're feeling pain here, that's okay. You know, the fingertips, you're gonna get these calluses within a few weeks, so just keep on going. It'll be a little bit painful, but I've never heard that being a major issue. What is a problem is if you're more advanced and you practice a lot of technique and you start feeling pain anywhere in your arm or shoulder or anything, you got to take that seriously because it can lead to chronic injury. Finnish blue is nice and good playing. Thank you, Mr. B11. Okay. How we use a tremolo arm. That's a topic for another day because this one doesn't even have a tremolo arm. Sorry, mate. Just working on this one now. No volume on the guitar. Let's try it again. This is better. Now it's interesting. I'm combining two different patterns. I'm gonna do a little bit more of that, and then I'm probably gonna go back to the glitch picking stuff. I messed up the timing of the slow playing. Let's try it again. Okay, I did okay, but then I couldn't get out of that lick without messing up the timing. Let's try one more time. Ah! Okay, I got away there. I didn't know what to do, but I waited and I got back in time. That just created a variation, and maybe the listener couldn't figure out that I had no idea what I was doing. That's the sound of brain freeze. Whew. But this is good. Now I'm getting into it. Now it's getting more fun, a little bit more warmed up, and I'm able to start combining stuff, and that's when it gets interesting, I think, because I mean, that's really the charm of improvising those faster runs, is you can get a smooth flow, and then you kind of reorder the patterns within, and you get a different kind of run, and yeah, it's cool stuff. So we had a question about the right hand here on Instagram. Where did the question go? Do you mute by right hand? Yeah, I mute by both hands. So here's the idea with muting. You want to mute as much as you possibly can, because even then it will probably not always be enough. So that means if you're fretting the A string, you have the opportunity to mute here the side of your finger. Do it. Now, you cannot mute the E string as easily, maybe with the tip of your finger, but that's tricky. So here you would mute with the palm, and then you can safely play the A string. If that sounds like a lot of work to play one note, it is, and that's also why you need to practice this stuff at a slow tempo when you're learning. You can't just, after 10 years, fix it easily. That you have to sort of go back and start working on your muting technique. Okay, let's start again. I was having a good flow there. I want to keep going. So you can get a free metronome on Google. Just write metronome and there's going to be a metronome there. Ouch. So now I was practicing tapping in the pentatonic scale, but using 3 notes per string with my left hand and then adding the 4th note, which makes it, well, pretty interesting. You almost have the entire scale there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, there's your last note. So if I were able to slide, I'm bad at that, we could practice that, then I would be able to play the entire pentatonic scale, you know, just in one pattern, which is cool. So 0 FN, I'm not playing a song here, I'm just practicing. No, it doesn't have a Sustainiac. It's interesting you guys are asking. It's just, I think what you're hearing is the legato sound. A Sustainiac would help me with one note, you know. But it doesn't really help you to get a good flow between different notes. For that, even with the Sustainiac, the only way is to work on your legato technique. And by legato, I don't just mean hammer-ons and pull-offs. I mean the flow, the smoothness of your playing. So Ian is asking from Facebook, I don't have a metronome and that's what I want to use for practicing guitar. Exactly. So as I mentioned earlier, you can find one on Google, just search for metronome. Or you have one on my GMC website if you look at tools, and there's a metronome there, which is a bit more powerful, I think, than the Google metronome. Okay. Let's try it some more. Let's try a smaller first, a smaller slide. Maybe I can do the longer one. timing isn't very good. The timing of the slide sucks. Let's see if you can hear that. Better. But I'm still painfully bad at those tapping slides. I've never mastered those. So let's skip those and get back to our glitch picking and see what we can achieve. Out. There's some noise coming here now. You don't want to practice for too long and constantly do the same noisy stuff over and over. You need to fix that, so we'll see if I can do that. The problem here is I'm a bit too experimental. I keep improvising. If I just play the exact same thing, it will be easier for me to fix the noise issue. But let's try it anyway. Okay, so there I was still noisy, but I actually came up with a new pattern there that I haven't done before. I'm not sure it sounds any good, but it's worth practicing. It's a bit of an uneven tapping thing. So when I'm doing the left-hand stuff here is hammer-ons from nowhere. I'll usually do like 1 or 2 finger taps with the left hand. So like this maybe. That was 2, or I'll do 1. But now I realized I can actually do 2 plus 1. I'm so smart. But I suck at it, but it's an interesting combination. So let's try it. Maybe something like this. It's more uneven, and I can't show it to you now because I just learned it, but I'll practice it a little bit and maybe we can have some fun with it. keep messing up. So I'm struggling with both noise and the pattern, which is the new one I was speaking about. And this is the advantage of practicing slowly. I can actually come up with new patterns as I practice the old ones. So let's try now. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I got a little bit tired of the tapping, and we've been going for quite some time now. I always feel like whenever I find something cool and I start practicing it, I feel like I get bored immediately, but then I realize quite some time has passed. So time time passes fast when you're having a good time. So whenever you find something cool to practice, it's like, oh man, I gotta practice that. And then all of a sudden, time and space just disappears. Thank you, Marcos, and thank you, Ember Kaufman on YouTube, for digging it. My Technique Hero says Guitar Dam on YouTube. Thank you, big thanks. Okay, so I gotta keep doing a little bit more of this. This was fun. I'm warmed up, and now I'm inclined to practice some arpeggios, which is, of course, one of my favorite things to do on the guitar. They sound so freaking cool. It's a little bit noisy. Try it one time. Ouch. Ah! I need to slow down the metronome. So what I was doing there was I started out playing diatonic arpeggio, so arpeggios within a scale. So if you're in E minor, there are 7 chords, like a 3-note chords in E minor. So you can play them as chords or you can arpeggiate them, and that's what I was doing. But then I started throwing in like diminished arpeggios, diminished 7 arpeggios between each diatonic arpeggio. Hey there, Leonard, what's up? So that's when I messed up. But it was fun, so I'm going to continue, but I don't know, maybe I'll increase the metronome speed and play slower. O-tune, how to create a random solo. Cool, how to improvise. That's a good and big topic. We can speak about that. Okay, let's see. Ah. Ah, messing up. Ah. Okay. So maybe some of you are wondering what the heck I'm doing now. I'm basically practicing technique while I'm also, improvising. Not in the sense that I'm trying to sound good, but rather in the sense that I'm trying to come up what the next thing is going to be on the fly. That's the definition of improvisation. I mean, you can improvise and it can sound really bad, but it's still an improvisation. So that's what I'm doing here, and I keep messing up. So that's when you got to take a little pause. And I can address O-Tune's question from Facebook. How do you come up with an improvised solo? So actually, this ties down to what I was just saying. You pretty much have to improvise anytime you pick up the guitar. It's probably the most difficult thing you can do on any instrument, is to come up with good new things on the fly. Now, in reality, that doesn't really happen. It's more variations of stuff you already know, which you maybe adapt to a new song, a new backing track, or your fellow musicians, which you are improvising or jamming with, who you are improvising with. So that's that's the best answer I can give you, but also probably the most boring one. Basically, the answer is improvise all the time. And I do it to the extent that I improvise even when practicing boring technique exercises, which is what you're witnessing right in this very moment. So here's how I practice improvising with arpeggios. Hey, RHVSVN from Instagram. I suck. I don't do cover songs. I just practice with a metronome. That's how boring I am. Okay. Yeah, the menacing, Trevor from Facebook, the menacing part are the diminished arpeggios. They sound very menacing. Okay, some more now. Something, what was I doing? Yeah, I gotta come up with something else, I think. Okay, so let's do some chromatics now. I'm messing up, but it's fun. Can I share my warm-up routine? For sure. I mean, that's what I've been doing. So what I recommend, this is D. Shrabon, who is asking this on Instagram. And if you rewatch the stream, on Instagram it's going to be reposted in maybe a couple of hours at maximum. Then watch what I did from the beginning, because I was completely cold. Or I was starting from zero, basically, my warm-up, and I just played very slow stuff, and it's going to be different, you know, but I choose a technique that isn't very stretchy and it isn't very demanding. So I was doing the glitch picking thing, but you're going to find it there. Cool. I'm going to put fries up your ass. Sorry, I had to say that. That's a nice username on Instagram, by the way. Very cool that you're playing Eruption. I don't even know that song, just like all the other songs in the world. Some more chromatics here. This is fun. Cool, we got my man Fred here. Long time no see. How you been doing? Have you had some good Christmas holidays? Let's see if we can practice some more here. That chromatic stuff is not to be underestimated. Zoe, glad you like it, man. Yuzu, yes, this has some blues elements to it, especially when I do like this. Go between the... It's a bit like fusion or outside sounding blues. Okay, but this is fun. I always felt this is something I should practice more, but I just never gave it the time. Let's see. Ah. Cool. Be careful with my guitar, brother. What is that supposed to mean? Okay, so we have some interesting comments here on Instagram. One of them is Yusuf saying, been trying to learn guitar for a year now. Never use the metronome. I keep the rhythm in my head. I took a different approach because I really don't like the sound of a metronome. Okay, so not liking the sound of a metronome is a very valid point because it sounds like crap. Some argue that if you can make it groove with a metronome, then you can make anything groove. Personally, I rarely practice like this, I must admit. I usually practice with a drum machine, which I don't have right now in the studio because I practice at home more. But here I usually play with a backing track. But my point is, if you never play with a backing track or a song or a drum machine or a metronome, then you are in big trouble. That's my point. But if you do practice regularly with a steady pulse, then you don't need a metronome. It's just that the metronome is kind of handy because you can easily move up the BPM. So it totally depends on what you're trying to learn. If you're into shredding, then you probably need some kind of drum machine or metronome where you can fine tune the BPM. But if you're trying to learn songs and just be a cool rhythm guitarist, then I suppose you can get away without using a metronome. But never practicing with a steady pulse, that's going to kill you. You need that in order to work with other musicians. I mean, literally, it's not going to kill you, but musically, it will. How to practice improvisation? That's a good topic. It seems I get asked quite a bit about this whenever I improvise in these live streams. Who would have thought? So my reply is, once again, you have to make it a part of everything you do, because improvisation is probably the trickiest thing you can do as a musician, I would say. It's really hard to improvise well, and so you got to make sure that whenever you pick up the guitar, you improvise. And that means even when I'm practicing technique like this, it's still going to be an improvisation. But an improvisation, especially in the beginning, doesn't mean that it sounds good. It just means that you don't play something predefined. You keep throwing things around and coming up with variations. That's all it means. What was I doing? Oh, chromatic stuff, yeah. That's a cool sound. So yeah, it doesn't matter what I practice, I just try to come up with variations. Exactly, glitch picking would be this, right? Oh, something. I'm a little bit more warmed up now. One time. Let's do some picking now then. Can I find something inspiring? Just doing the pentatonic stuff. Too fast! Yeah, so improvising at that tempo and trying stuff you're not comfortable with is hard. Cool, so we've got some new questions here. Folk, sounding good, thank you. You're retired and you bought a Telecaster, finally, awesome, man. You can do it, man. Just play every day and it's gonna sound awesome. Eventually. Zoe on Instagram is asking, I'm playing electric guitar since summer. Do you have any tips for me to get better at playing it? So obviously I have a million different tips and you can find them on the channel in my shorts. But if I were to give you one big tip, it would be to, disregard what people tell you, If you ask this question, some people are going to tell you, oh, you should practice this. Others are going to say, yeah, this is a good starting exercise. Third one is going to say, you have to play this beginner riff, They're all wrong because they don't know you. They don't know your musical preferences. They don't know your background, both as a human being, but also, with music, Maybe you're totally new to music and you have never really listened to it, or you've listened a lot to music, and that means you probably have some stuff for free, like rhythm and stuff like that. And all that has to be factored in when giving you advice. But generally, if you try to play songs or solos and riffs that you love listening to, you can't go wrong. Even if progress is super slow, as long as you're motivated to keep on pushing the envelope, you're going to do good. I've seen beginner students who really approach difficult stuff, and granted they couldn't learn how to play it, but they still learned a lot by trying because they were super motivated. So you could do the opposite. You could be an intermediate player and I give you something super simple and it just makes you want to put the guitar down because it doesn't inspire you, because it's not like a song or a musical style that you love, So it's all about finding something that triggers you musically. And your level doesn't really matter as much as long as you're just laser focused. Question about pick. I think a sharp pick is a good way to. This is a classic jazz 3. Can't go wrong with jazz 3. It's thick and it's pointy. That's perfect for electric guitar. For acoustic, I like light pick gauges, so picks you can bend. You know, that's the essential part, I think. We have some spammers on YouTube, so I guess I can't ban from here. Oh, I can. Okay. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, are we gonna play a little bit more? Oh, we've been going for 1.5 hours. That's why my brain is slowing down. I'll just do one more attempt at the alto picking stuff and then I'll be done for the day, I think. This is sloppy as hell. Yeah, I'm exhausted now. Okay, so yeah, that was just me playing a picking pattern in the E minor scale, moving it around. Basically, this kind of looks like a power chord, right? So we can play the 12th fret on the D string and the 14th fret on the G string, and then you play 3 times on the first note and 1 on the last. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I also took the opportunity to practice some vibrato there, because why not? Vibrato, something you constantly need to work on. You could either do that. I need to work on that. Or just the standard vibrato. So thanks so much for tuning in. It's been a fun session. I really enjoyed practicing with you guys. So that's something we'll be doing a lot more here. Basically, my plan is to kind of take you with me as I work behind the scenes here. When you're seeing a 7-second short on the channel, it's usually a result of weeks and weeks of practice, of course. So thank you so much for stopping by. You guys are the best. I'll see you very soon again. See ya. Cheers.